it's Jill with Cricflix, and I am working on some centerpieces, the theme of Frozen. And I've got the pieces put together. I'm just going to show some of the techniques that I used to finish them off. And the first one I'm going to work on is Olaf. I've got, these are 18-inch pieces. I've got them all glittered, and I used glossy accents in the nose and in the eyes. And then I used my liquid pearls on the branches for his arms to give him more of a texture, kind of make it look more realistic. And then what I did is I have started using clays. Now I got my clay on Amazon, and I would not say it is the best clay that you can get, molding clay. The thing is it was inexpensive, and I got every color that I could possibly need. However, once it's opened and used a couple times, it seems to dry out. Now I'm trying to figure out, here's one that's open. Yeah, and it gets pretty dry. That I gotta, maybe what I should do is, my husband has a vacuum, a vacuum to seal bags. I should have him do that when I open it, because I just hate to buy another box when there's so many colors I haven't used. However, it does dry out and then you can't work with it. Now on him, I've already done the nose on the one here. I'm going to do the nose on the other one. I did put glitter on it. That's okay, because I want it to dry a little bit. So what I do is just take a little bit of my clay, and you do want to make sure it's a clay that's going to dry pretty quickly and that's pretty easy to work with for shaping it. You know, I just eyeball it. Sometimes I roll it out. It all depends on what I'm working on. On here for his nose, I am totally eyeballing it. And I'm going to put it on there and just kind of push it to shape it some. Quick and easy. Got it. Now I'm going to take, and I want the little lines in the carrot. So I'm just going to take my little blue knife here and just kind of make some curved lines in the nose. And close that up a little bit. I'm going to take that off. See, super simple. But I am not going to leave this on to dry, because I'm going to put this together and I can put him on after this nose has dried. But you can put them, stick them on there when the clay is really moist and let it dry on there. I'm not real sure how well it stays, because typically I make it, I let it dry, then I put it together. Let me see, where did all his buttons go? I've already done his buttons out of the black clay, his coals. I like them better than buttons because I made them look like little chunks of coal. And I've got 3 for each side. I don't need this. I shall move that aside. Now, he's got a branch coming out of his head. And what I did is I went outside and I got a tree branch. It doesn't have to resemble exactly what he's got coming out of his head, but I kind of tried to get it with the 3 points on it. I don't know if I like, yeah, that's good. It's good. I don't need the black. Put that over there. And first thing I am going to do is I'm going to glue. Now see how thick this is? You can use a thinner branch. But what I have found, when these are dead branches, they're very dry and brittle. When I get them too thin, like the thickness of, let's say, one of my dowel rods that I use for my base, I've had them in the past break, and I don't want them to break, so I have this thicker. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix that. I have got to get a dowel rod. I'm out of pegs. So let me reach in here in my stash of dowel rods, and instead of using my little saw right now, I'm just going to clip a piece off. And do I want to use, no, I don't want to use that with the sticker on it, and I don't feel like taking the sticker off right now. I'm going to show you also another thing that I do. Let me see, how am I going to have him? Yeah, that's how I'm going to have him. Now, the other ones I'm going to just kind of show some different techniques that I use to finish them off on the bottom, so I have seen a lot of folks doing the centerpieces now. It's become pretty popular, but a lot of times I don't like the way they're finished off at the bottom. Either the peg is showing or the base is not stained or looks unfinished on camera. I don't know what it looks like in person. I personally want my bases finished, and I do not want my peg showing. I do not like that. I'm going to use my big, I wouldn't call these tongue depressors. He's a little big for the tongue, but let me get him sealed up here. And while I'm putting these sticks in, let me tell you what's new since my last video. Always something new and exciting. Not necessarily exciting in a good way, but always forever busy. My son-in-law went for his follow-up of 6 weeks after his open heart surgery, and he's doing fantastic. He's still mentally struggling with anxiety, and it's a lot for such a young, healthy man to find out he needs 5 bypasses. That's a huge deal. You know, somebody who doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, plays basketball. I mean, he's the epitome of health. So he's been struggling with anxiety, and I guess you might call it borderline depression post-operative, which is pretty normal on open heart surgery. But I think, too, the reality of having to have this surgery without absolutely no clue he had an issue. His mother had it last week. She had a triple bypass. Everybody in the family on his mother's side started getting checked after having lost 5 or 6 of them in the past 2 years have died of heart attacks on his mother's side of the family. So it is 100% genetic, and everybody got tested. And the cholesterol issue, my daughter did take in all her children, her 4, and had all their cholesterol tested. One of them came back high. Our main concern is Kendall, because of the fact that she already has risk with her having had leukemia. As you get older, some of the risk factors are heart issues and obesity. So it's one of those things that one or the other is not good. I mean, obesity is not good for the heart, and the heart, of course, is not good, period. But anyway, she got checked, and hers came out fine, her cholesterol, thank God. But I'm going to take the end of this off because I'm not liking that too big a piece there. I'm going to show you, because this is really going to be a big opening here, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix it. I want a lot of glue on that because that baby is big. There went some of my coal. Oh, sorry guys, but my coal fell on the floor. Anyway, that's all good. My husband had another issue with his heart. He went in on Wednesday for he had an exam down his esophagus for his stomach and his esophagus and everything else, because he's had issues where he's been losing a lot of weight. I think he's losing a lot of weight because once he had a stent put in a few years ago, he really took seriously his eating habits and watching what he eats rather than depending on cholesterol medication to ward off his high cholesterol. The medication's great, but it's not a preventative. I mean, a preventative. It helps, but it's not a magic cure. So he's been eating a lot healthier, but he's still lost a lot of weight. talked to my dad last night, and I told him that he's gotten so tiny, and he's shrunk 3 inches, and he's lost like 20 pounds. I said, I'm going to have to take him out in a backpack when we go anywhere, because he's getting so little. But he had all that done on Wednesday, and everything came out perfect. No issues whatsoever. Then on Thursday night, I had gone to the gym, and when I came home, he was sitting on the couch, and he was looking really kind of lethargic or whatever. And he asked me to feel his neck, his pulse, and I couldn't feel anything. And so I took my watch off. He refuses to wear Apple Watch, but I took my watch off and put it on him, and his heart was racing pretty high. It was in the 160s. So I have what we call an SOS packet, a metoprolol, to give him if his heart starts racing. And so I gave him one and waited a few minutes, 15 minutes, to see if it slowed down, and it didn't. So I decided to take him to the emergency room. So when I got him to the emergency room, they hooked him up and said, yes, his heart is racing, and they needed to slow it down. But everything they checked, they did a couple EKGs, and they did x-rays, and they did blood work. I can't remember what all he had done, but everything known to man. And I was contacting my brother through it all and sending him pictures of the monitors and everything that they were doing to make sure that he agreed with what they were doing, because when this happened a few years ago, they did not check. They didn't give him a cath and check his widowmaker, which almost cost him his life. And so I'm real paranoid about that. So I was calling my brother and sent him a copy of the monitor, and what was good was that his heart rhythm was in sync with the top and the bottom of his heart, and pushing the blood and whatever. All that was good. It was just going too fast. It was some sort of tachycardia. I don't know, sinus was what they called it. But anyway, he had all the tests done, and everything came out perfect. So I was glad for that, but he does have to go in for a follow-up to just make sure that his stent that he had put in a few years ago or a couple of years ago is functioning properly and everything's okay, which I believe it is, because everything came back good. But I told him, I said, my God, last week he went in for a MRI of his head, because he'd been having issues with his balance, and they checked his eyes and said he had cataracts that he has to have removed in April. But he went into the eye doctor, and the eye doctor said, yes, you definitely have cataracts. However, they were not concerning about his balance with that. They thought it was something else going on. But the MRI came back perfect. And knocking everything on the floor. And so then again, between that and the colonoscopy and the esophagus thing that they did, I don't even know what it's called, and all his blood work, and everything he could possibly check has been checked in this past week, and there is nothing. Everything comes out great, which I'm happy about. But spent 2 straight days sitting in the hospital. We didn't get out of there till midnight, and then I had a rough night because all these things going through my head. But anyway, all is good, and there's nothing concerning. So when he goes to the cardiologist next week, they will most likely do another stress test just to make sure that everything is working properly. Okay, guys, I got his nose on, and I got his, now see how open it is on the top? I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to that one. Let me put his hole on first. I dropped one and I think it went under my table. My husband's been busy as all get out making tables. We've got somebody coming over at 12:30 today to check his workmanship because they want to order a table but want to see something in person, which I absolutely get. He's working on a beautiful square coffee table that he used live edge, that he cut off some live edge dining tables that he made. He had to cut the edge off to piece the boards together, and he didn't throw it away, so he framed this coffee table out in live edge, and it's gorgeous. Love it. Love it. But we've got so many tables all over the house. I put them everywhere in the house so he has room in his workshop to work, because if I have them all out there, number one, they get all dirty, and he needs the room because he's usually got 3 or 4 projects going on at the same time. But anyway, he has got some gorgeous tables out there. I prefer that people order what they want, because when he makes them and we post them as like you would in a furniture store, you buy what's on the floor. The minute they know you can make one to their specs, they go that route, and so then we end up with the tables longer than I would like. So I have 3 quotes right now, and I told them, just make one of them 7 foot with these legs like this. Don't stain it, don't do anything to it, and just leave it. Because the next person that says, is it ready? I can say yes. Because they all want different color, and I don't know. But anyway, keeping us out of trouble, I think. I probably, speaking out of line there, probably not out of trouble. Now this one has a little bit of a space down here on the peg, and I don't like that. So I'm going to take one of these little tiny beads. I got them on a peg here just so I can see the color. And I'm going to take a gray one and put it at the bottom of my peg. I have these in all different sizes. I have them out of wood. I've got some really cool ones that are out of metal. But I love these to finish off the bottom of my peg. Then I take some round balls that I get in colors, and I put them on a peg and spray paint them the color I need. So I've got a whole bunch of gold ones here for a project I'm working on. But anyway, whoops, forgot to put those on there. Then this way, when I put the peg on, I don't see it. I don't know what it is. I don't like it when I can see the peg. Now, what I'm going to do, this side is done. The other side is still drying. I have got this Snow Tex Deco Art. I have bought this for when I'm doing, in the wintertime, I make wood 3-4 foot tall Grinch, reindeer, can't think what all. I do reindeer, can't even think, but signs, just all sorts of Christmas things that stand up, and you wrap them up in lights and put them out on your porch or wherever you want. The size of my house, I have so many decorations. I didn't even put them up this year. I have no room to put them. But anyway, I use the snow on them. It dries hard. The reason I have this one here in this little cup mixed up is because one of the containers had hardened, very hardened, and I threw it away. And then after I threw it away, I thought, this is water-based. So I dug it out of the trash and I filled it with water, and sure enough, it's absolutely perfect. All the lumps, everything, like whipped cream, came out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on his little, I don't want to call them antlers because they're not antlers. And I'm just going to put some of this snow on. I'm using one of my big what do I call tongue depressor? But this isn't a tongue depressor. I don't know what it is, but I'm using a big fat one. Okay, and put a little white there. I'm gonna put them on the other side, and whoop, little piece stripped off. No big deal. There's no rhyme or reason how you put this. You just any way you want. And whites. I have family coming in today. My husband's got to go to the airport. We got somebody coming here to look at furniture. We got St. Patty's Day dinner at my daughter's with the whole family, and all I think is, my God, could I get any busier? This is one of the things that really makes it hard for me to film. Is right now I'm getting this done because I want this mailed today, and I got to have time for this to dry. So, and my husband has to go to the airport, and I do not want this to go another day. So, this is filling in the hole where that stick is too big. And I just kind of let it go its own way. I don't try and shape it or anything like that. And you will see that it runs, like on one side it's run differently completely than the other side. But it just kind of gives them a little extra. And you know, I'm all about extra. I think the things that I've added that I haven't done in the past would be the clay and, oh, there's quite a bit of stuff. I do use liquid pearls more often now. And depending on what I'm doing, I'm using lights on centerpieces. I'm using 6x6 boxes as centerpiece bases, but I'm decorating them and making them so they look like a 3D. One I did the city skyline. One I did as a boxing ring enclosed. What I'm trying to do is give more depth to my pieces. I'm working on one now that's a domino theme for a 60th birthday for a man that plays dominoes. And my husband made me wood bases of dominoes. I'll show you those. These are going to be the bases for the centerpieces, and the colors are black gold and white, I think. Yeah, white for the dominoes. I have to paint the other side, the back, but he drilled in little holes, not deep, but just little divots, rivets, dips. I don't know. Anyway, who cares? And then I just painted the black outline. And there's going to be crown centerpieces that I made, which I'm going to videotape. Some little containers of black glitter with the sign on it that will go in the center of the crown. I have numerous projects here sitting around all ready to go, so I'm hoping that I am able to find the time to get some videos going, because I got some really different stuff in the making. Okay, I think that's enough snow for this little guy. I am going to use it on other pieces. So, but I don't want to go too heavy that it doesn't dry, and I don't want to make it too thick that it would break off in shipping. So you gotta be careful. Yeah, got to be careful. So anyway, that is it on him. Now, what I may do is, because I don't want this to become so ungodly long that you can't stand it, I may do a separate video for each, not every single piece, but kind of break it down into a few so that I don't take up too much of your time. I gotta find where my other coal went, guys. I lost a piece of coal. I do love this, working with this clay. You can't tell in the pictures as much as you can tell in person, but it's really pretty cool to work with. I really like it. I really, really like it. But anyway, that's going to be it for now on this one. And again, I don't know how many I'm going to do for pieces. There's 5 pieces in this order, but there's a lot of accents that I'm going to be adding to each of them. And so it could be very time consuming. I don't know how long this has been going on here. And I hope that the camera did not stop because it went off of my watch. We will soon find out. And I hear footsteps. Yep, there comes my husband. And so, until the next one, thanks for watching. Hi, I'm back again. I decided I'm going to go ahead and finish up all the pieces and do one video because I still have 3 more projects I'm working on, and I will try and tape those. I'm working on Elsa now. Something I have changed on the ponytail that she wears is I used to use this fur it comes braided. You can get it in any craft store, or used to be able to. I don't know. I used to use this on projects that I did out of wood when I used to do holiday decorations made cut out of wood. And I found this in all of my stash. I don't know if they still use it, but I'm making use of what I have. Now it looks like just a little tiny piece. However, this little tiny piece, when you use it, you pull it and you stretch it, and I will show you, and it becomes massive amount. I have a piece torn off here that was actually torn off the other side that I did. And it looks like nothing but fuzz. I know what I used it for mainly. Santa Claus's beards. It worked awesome for his beards, or anything that you wanted fuzzy. Because once you start pulling on it, it loses the braid shape. But what I'm doing is I've got a little bit of a braid shape here, and I'm going to divide this into 3 pieces. And again, this is not the easiest thing to work with. The way that I'm doing it right now is kind of a pain, but I like it, so I'm doing it. I got that into 3, yep. And then what I want to do is take the top of it and just ball it up as tight as I can. And then up here, I'm going to glue it at the top of her ponytail, right below her ear. I balled it up as much as I can. I'm going to put a pretty good dab of glue here because I want it to hold down this entire ball that I made. And when I push it down really hard, it flattens and it's no longer a great big ball. It is now, it doesn't show like I put a great big ball of fur on there, or her hair. It's, when you flatten it, that's how it works. Okay, now I've already had it separated into 3. So now I'm going to take and braid this fuzz. Now, if you want to, it already comes braided. That one's, I unbraided. I must have used it for something, I don't know. But it comes in a braid. I'm pretty sure it's a braid. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's just a crinkle that looks like a braid. Like it's got a crimp to it. I don't know. I don't remember. But if it does come in a way that you just like to use it like that, I suppose I would if I was making a bigger centerpiece, but on the size of this particular centerpiece, it would be too much hair. I wouldn't want it. I don't want it that big. So that's why I'm doing it this way and braiding the little fuzzies. And be careful you don't have any glue too close to you, whether it would be hot glue or Elmer's glue, whatever, or this Glossy Accents, which I do have close to me. I was trying to put the gems on with Glossy Accents, and that, my friend, did not work at all. So I am using only hot glue and sacrificing my fingertips to the hot glue. Now, as it gets smaller, I'm making the braid a little bit tighter as I get down towards the end. And you can see a little bit more of the braid itself rather than just looking like fuzz. But when it's all done, it'd be surprising. And I'm going to put glue all the way down her braid, all the way to the end. And because I want this to stick really close all the way to the end. And now I'm not going to push it down as tightly as I did up here, because if I do, it's just going to flatten it onto the hot glue, and I don't want to do that. And then I've got a little bit left over here that I am going to cut off. And normally I wouldn't throw out that extra, I would save it all in a bag when I was doing my other sorts of crafts with it, because that's a beard. I just threw away a Santa's beard. But I don't make wood Santas anymore. So, actually I don't make paper ones either. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I already did the back side of her. So as she's flipping around here, you're probably getting a glance at the other side. I'm going to take, I've got all my gems out here that I'm going to use, and these are, I got them at Michael's, and they're just a whole bunch of different colors of gems, but they're in the shape of a flower. Oops. Let's try that again. I don't know if you can see it or not, but they're in the shape of a flower. And I am going to be using, there's like 3 sizes in there. I'm going to take a medium size one to use it. I need my sticky pick-me-up, my silhouette pick-me-up kit. They're hard to pick up and have the right side to attach. It's easier with my pick-me-up. Put a little dab of glue there. Now what I'm going to do is, in that area, I want it to push down. That's right at the top of her braid. I'm trying to use my pick-me-up so I don't get the glue on my fingers and then turn around and get it touched to her hair, her ponytail, and end up pulling it off. So, now there's a little dab of glue there. A little dab will do ya. And I'm going to snip it off. The one thing that's nice about working with this too is that it sticks to itself. And so it, for instance, when I got that little dab of glue on there, I can easily remove it without taking a chunk of her braid out. Now I'm going to put the second one in, and I'm going to make that a smaller one. I've got a couple shades of blue here. I don't really care because her dress has got different shades in it. You can pull them apart and use all the exact same color, or doesn't really matter. When you get them in, they all glittery and sparkle. I don't think it makes any difference. You got a lighter blue and a darker blue. Most of the little tiny ones are light blue. I got them, I'm gonna say at Michael's, but I'm not gonna swear by it. I remember the days that I used to go to Michael's every day. Then it got back that I would go once a week. Then I'd go a couple weeks, and then I make a haul about once a month. Now I have so much stuff that I pretty much never go. The only time I go is if I run out of laces that I use on the bloomers of my little babies. But that's about it. I'm trying to make sure I use up everything I have. My daughter was over the other day, and she said, "You're never in your lifetime going to use all this stuff." And I said, "Nope, but I'm going to leave it to one of my daughters that I know will use it. And I'm not going to worry about it. They can figure out who is going to want it." Isn't that a terrible thing to think about? But right now, as I get older, I'm exposed or encounter more and more and more loss of friends and family. And when I was up at the hospital with my husband Thursday night at the emergency room, I went out of the emergency room. It was driving me nuts in that little tiny room, and the people leave you there forever. And when I went out, I ran into one of my daughter's high school friends that I've known pretty much all her life. And she was there with her father. And when she said that he'd come in because he had just had a blood clot last week and was in the hospital for 5 days, and now he's back up because he had swelling in his arm again. And she said he just got diagnosed with LLS. And I said, "Oh, is he on treatment?" Whatever. Not realizing when she said LLS, I was thinking of leukemia. Because my granddaughter had leukemia, and I know there's ALS, and then there's another one, and could have sworn it was LLS, but when I looked it up, I saw it was Lou Gehrig's disease, or a neuron fatal illness with no treatment. Then I felt horrible because I don't know, I felt terrible, but he's my age. And I just found out last week, my daughter's mother-in-law, who's also we're very, very close, was diagnosed with cancer, uterine, no. Ovarian, I think it was ovarian, but by the time they found it, it was in stage 4, and it had spread everywhere, and they kind of said, well, you know, we'll try and treat it and see whatever, but they had written in her records that life expectancy with this disease was a year. And the only reason I'm telling this is because she's been going through numerous, I think she's been through at least 5 types of chemo. She was in a study not too long ago, but then was removed because it wasn't working. So was on another kind of chemo, and then I think it was last week or the week before, she went in for her follow-up, and the tumor started growing again, and not only did it start to grow again, they found more. So they had said she could start this, there's one more chemo that they could use, basically to buy her a little time, and there was another study that they had submitted for her to be in, which they haven't heard back yet. But her husband, my son-in-law's father, had told them that pretty much everything now that they do as a family, like a family vacation, holidays, whatever, throughout the year will be her last. Basically saying that, okay, this is it. Breaks my heart. But what they had said to her was, you know, they didn't expect her to have a year, and it's been 9 years. 9 years. But regardless, 9 years is not enough. It's just not enough. So I am dealing with the reality of mortality. And as you get older, it's just never good. And my husband, it's not that my husband's unhealthy. Everything that he's had has, thank God, has been fixable, curable, whatever. Even when he had cancer, that was years ago. And he's, you know, all the surgeries he's had for metal plates being put in, all of that. He's still, everything they've been able to do to him, they've been able to fix him. And it breaks my heart because this was supposed to be a cheerful, I'm done. I'm not telling any more of that. Done. Out of my mind. I gotta get back on. But that kind of explains my filming of late. I've been trying really, really hard to be more involved and make it to more of my grandkids' sports events and what we have going on, because they're growing so fast. So my family does come first. But that's kind of one of the things happening over the past couple of years, that the reality is, man, you need to live life at its fullest, because my husband said, well, you never know where you're going to go anyway. And I said, yes, exactly, but I don't want to know either. I think it's worse knowing and waking up every day knowing that your clock is ticking really fast. So that is hence my obsession with eating healthy and exercising like a crazy lady, because everything I read, there are absolutely no cons about eating good and exercising. It's not a promise of my living longer or not ever getting hit with some horrible disease. However, the things that I know are hereditary in my family, my exercising is going to buy me time, avoiding that bullet, particularly the dementia. But guys, these aren't sticking. I'm trying to put this little string of diamonds, gems, and they're not sticking. So I'm going to take them off and say a little prayer that when I put the hot glue on here, I can keep them straight The thing that I love, these strings of rhinestones, I absolutely love them. However, they twist and turn when you're putting them on. But this is only about 1.5 inches long piece, so I'm hoping it didn't turn. It didn't turn. But I better be quiet because I got the other side to do too. So I might not be so lucky on the other side. Alrighty, we got that side done. Now I'm going to put a row of the gems over here, just along her. Which direction did I put them? I put the thing on a little bit differently from one side. Can't tell, so I can't tell what I did even flipping it over. It looks a little different, but oh well. Not a biggie. I'll just put them wherever I put them. Okay. And I love hot glue, but there's no forgiveness in hot glue. If you put something down, and you might be able to yank it back up, but if it's something like this, you're not going to get the hot glue off of the gem itself. So you might as well throw it away because it'll be all gobbed up. And if anything else touches it, it's there for good. Yeah, I did. I put that one down further on this side. But if any of the guests are running around and flipping them and looking from side to side, just take it away or move them to another table. Don't let them look. Just move them to another table. Because it should be paying that much. Well, are they different? I don't know. Yeah, they are. Not different. But I had this one up a little higher under her arm here, and this one a little lower. But again, if anybody notices they're looking too close, I always see those bumper stickers. If you could read this, you're too close. Well, that's kind of me with my crafting. If you can read it or if you can see it, you're too close. You know, pay attention to the party and all the people you're sitting with at the table. Spending too much time staring at this. How do you like that? Okay, there we got one. I've already got Anna done. Anna. You know what? There wasn't much to do with her because she wears a cape, and I did her braid in the liquid pearls. I had that was one thing, as I had gone on to scrapbookpal.com, scrapbookpal, one word, .com, and they have all the stickles and all of the Nouveau, which is this one, and they have the liquid pearls, the stickles liquid pearl, which is this one. And I never used them in the past because I thought of them as like the puff paint from back when my kids were little. But I tried to use a puff paint instead of the liquid pearl. The application, the drying, the final finish and stuff, they're not the same. They're different. So this is what I did with her hair because the color matched. And I had ordered every color they had. So I've been using that for accents. But she does have a little heart, or little gem clip at the top of her cape that I'm going to use one of these in the right color. And let me see. Let me decide what I think is the right color. Let me make this executive decision here, guys. And I'm going to pick this one here. And I'm going to make it larger because I want it to show, because I don't have a lot to put on her because there's really nothing to put on her. And then good, now that I picked out the one I want, I can't find another one. Found one. Okay, now I'm going to put that right at her neck as a clasp to her cape. And you know what I think I'm going to do? Watch this. Another one on this side. She's all glittered up, and when I take my pictures and do the close-ups, you'll be able to see the glittering and the pearls, the liquid outlining. But I think on this one, what I'm going to do is move this aside before I spill it. I have iced coffee every single morning for breakfast. I have an iced coffee that I make with 1 cup of coffee on the strongest, on the Keurig I make 1 cup of coffee that I put in the refrigerator. Every day I make one and swap it out and put it in the refrigerator. In the morning, then I make an iced coffee. And the reason I make the coffee the day before is because if you pour hot coffee, when you make a iced coffee, and the ice all melts in there, it waters it down, and I don't like it. So I do mine the night before. But I use a Quest protein shake. They've got a flavor cafe latte. Absolutely love it. But that's my breakfast. I try to make sure I get in at least 116 proteins or grams of protein a day. My coach, I switched to a personal coach, and I wasn't eating enough protein. So once I switched to protein, wow, what a difference it made with all the workouts. But anyway, then there's ratio. I'm telling this because this has nothing to do with what I'm doing. So I just thought I would just throw something out there. If you like yogurt is a great source of protein if you get the right one. There's a brand called Ratio, and it's got 30 grams, 25 to 30 grams, depending on what flavor you get per yogurt. So I don't know why I got on this. I don't know why I'm going down that road, guys. I don't know, but I don't know. I was decided that I really do want to do a Instagram showing and helping people with different things in life. Elderly people, particularly. My focus is more on people that, as you get older, things that we struggle with, to try and be of some sort of help. Oh, I like that. I'm going to say it that good. When I take a picture, I'll try and get close up that really, the layered in that little flower of the blue, like the sleeves in the middle of it. Oh, I really like that. Anyway, it just went off on another trip in my head. Oh, I know what guys, why didn't somebody holler at me to use my pick-me-up stick? I'm sitting there trying to pick it up with the tweezers, and we already discussed this. Use the pick-me-up stick, and then drop the flower. There we go. And make sure, yep, I'm happy with that. Looks good. So we've got Anna done here. Husband still makes all the bases, for those of you that ask. This one I have a little teal ball down here that matches her sleeve up here, just again so the peg doesn't show. And I kind of like the way it finishes it off. Now I have Anna, and oh, you know what I forgot to do on her, guys? So this is probably going to end up being in a couple of videos anyway, because I'm forgetting stuff as I go here. I want these in her hand. These snowflakes. These are not my favorite ones. My favorite ones my granddaughter has used up in her crafting. She loves to craft, but a 4-year-old, or 5, she's 5 now, idea of crafting is take a whole entire package of stickers and just randomly stick them on a sheet of paper. And then said, look at my project. And that's what my granddaughter does. She uses an entire pack of stickers. So she got a hold of my good stickers that I really like for my Frozen line. But, oh well, it's okay. A lot worse things in this world. And so I'm going to put one in her hand. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the mirror image of that one on the back side. I didn't put anything between them, so I put it way down on her hand because this is not going to be stiff. Like I have had some plastic snowflakes that didn't need this. This is not going to be, it's not hard plastic. It's just a cellophane sticker. So I just stuck them together, which gives it a little bit more. It's a little firmer. Okay, now we got her done, and I've got two more here to do. This one's going to be pretty easy because it's the two of them together. Again, I got the glossy accents in their eyes, I've got the glossy in their mouth, and then I've got the glitter on everything else. And the bent toe. Let me put a little dot of glue. If something like this happens when you're making a centerpiece or any kind of project that you have kind of a spot that's not very sturdy and it bends easy, what I do is make sure I put extra hot glue in there, because the hot glue, when it dries, is hard. So this toe no longer moves. All it took was filling it in really good with hot glue. This one's got that metal circle on it that I showed on the first half of this, down on the bottom for her base. Now on her flowing gown is not flowing on this, but there's a piece coming out here. So what I'm going to do, by the way, what I'm using is Celebrate It. I don't know if they still have these. I bought this at Michael's a couple of years ago, or I don't know, years ago. I don't know if it was a couple of years ago or before the pandemic or after. I'm going to say before the pandemic, COVID. So they probably don't have it anymore. I think they were going out of stock on it. So I bought a bunch of it, and I like it because the strips are already cut. So what I did on that is it's folded in half. I just take the staple out of the top of it. I leave it in the cardboard it's hanging on because it's some little hanger, and count off as many pieces as I want. Then I take them, each piece, and I knot it in the center. Now, on this one, they're super, super thin. And I can tell when I finish the knot if I didn't separate it enough. And this one had too big of a knot, so I knew it was 2 of these strips instead of 1. But there's 2 strips because it should be just like this. It should just be 1. They're really, really thin. But since I'm going to use 2 on each side, I left it, and I'm going to glue it right under her arm. And to hold this, I'm going to put my hot glue right on my knot. And my knot is kind of long, so when I shove it up there, I'm going to have enough, I think, to push it around so it kind of comes up on each side, and I can reinforce it, make sure it stays that way. There we go. And when I do it like that, I took the knot, but then since it was a long knot, I pushed it in half. So then when this is dry and I put it down, that covers the knot. Now, I don't want this much train hanging, so I am going to cut it off. Now, you also can get the rolls, the little rolls of tulle at Michael's or at Hobby Lobby that are like this. Essentially, you can do the same thing, just pull this strip down and cut it and then knot it. I love the glitter one, and I would have used it had she been a 2-foot piece, but it's very, very, very messy, and a lot of the glitter falls off, and if your piece isn't real big, you might not even notice the glitter. So it's just messy. So, I mean, I use it sometimes, and I don't sometimes. That was profound. Profound. Okay. Now, when I put the glue on the other side, I'm actually just barely, just a little bit. I'm not globbing it on there because I don't want the whole thing glued flat. I just want a part of it to touch the glue so the whole thing's not flying everywhere. I lost one of my Tim Holtz scissors. I'm so mad because I think I threw them out accidentally when I was taking something apart or taking off a mat. That's happened before, and I'm going to have to invest in another pair, maybe. Okay, I didn't do any hair in her because, again, she doesn't have a ponytail showing here, and that little bit between the necks is not enough for me to do that. So, there we go for her. And I've got one more piece, guys, and I'll be done. And this one will be saying bye-bye. But I have a Lion King coming up, a Thornberry coming up, swans. I have to do some swans, and a Mickey and Minnie Mouse and some butterflies. So I have And I'm going to try and videotape as much as I can, but mainly, you know, somebody says, can you do a video from the beginning to the end? I have done those over the years. It gets very, very redundant. I do them a lot. And so now what I'm doing is just if I'm doing something different, something new, I'll go ahead and video. And I know there's a few of you out there that wish I would get back to the scrapbooking. But guys, the bottom line is I simply don't have the time. And with my husband's wood business, he tells me today he wants a book with pictures of all the tables he's made, which makes sense. However, guess who gets to do it? Moi. I don't have the time. But this is where my time goes. Taking care of grandkids and taking care of my husband and just taking care of life. She's holding over here, you can see that she's got a snowflake. So I'm taking my little snowflake pack here. And again, picking off the mirror image ones. And just doing front and back. Right over that. Now on her, I think I am going to use some bling. She's got some diamond earrings on. I'm trying to think whether or not I want to do her hair. I haven't decided on that yet. But I'm going to put the earrings on her. I get these little packets here too at, I believe is Michael's. I don't even remember anymore, guys. I've had most of this stuff so many years, and I always forget I even have it. And little tiny, tiny, tiny dab. Gotta be quick, or you're gonna get too much glue in there. There we go. And I'm gonna put the diamond on the other side. Okay, come here. Oh my gosh. Now I'm not going to get it on here before the glue is too dry or hardened. Oh my word. Yep, I got it. I got it. Just got to push it down there. And got the snowflake on there. And what I did on Olaf is I used the same thing, not this same color. I used a dark brown. It is called Liquid Pearls, and it's by Tim Holtz, or Ranger, which is Tim Holtz. And did the branches here. So again, they have texture and they kind of pop out, so they're very obviously branches. And on her, I want to put on, let me see if I have enough of these left. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to have to tie some more off, because I'm going to want some on her, because this particular file, this is how it was ending. But I wanted to use this file since I was making various pieces. I wanted to, rather than making Anna and Elsa a bunch of them alone, I did some of them together. So I am going to go ahead and put a train on her. This one might be 2 in there. That knot seems like it's possibly 2. And let's see here. My daughter leaves for Hawaii next week for vacation. That would be my son-in-law. My daughter's husband's one that just had the open heart surgery. He got the go-ahead to go back to normal life yesterday. And so on the way home from the hospital, I was on the phone with my daughter, and she said they had just left his appointment. And I said, you know, she said that they said he can go back. He can start doing everything that he did post or pre-op. And my daughter said I was going to go home and do laundry, because my daughter's really been struggling, because he does a lot. He handles running them to their sports, pretty much everything. And since he was diagnosed in December, way before the holidays, he, at that time when they found out what was going on, he had to stop everything. But his surgery was not pushed out like month and a half, 2 months. So he's literally been in this state of dealing with his heart since before the holidays. And my daughter's been running the 4 kids to school, to sports, to whatever's going on, and doing everything on her own at home because he couldn't lift anything. He was on a medication that slowed his heart down, so he didn't want to do anything, couldn't do anything. But anyway, she wanted the go ahead for him to start being able to help out. He hasn't been at work either for that entire time. They work from home. They both work from home. So they have been in each other's space now for 4 months. And I've been married for nearly 50 years. And my husband and I are both retired. And all I know is he makes tables. And if he doesn't have an order, I make him make a table, a spec table, just to put up on the website. Ready for pickup type of thing for people that don't want to wait. And he says what style, and I tell him. So he's got a few out in the garage already done. But every time somebody orders a table, we don't have one done like they want. So he always has to make it. Somebody came over this morning, and they had just bought a vacation home cabin, and they wanted him to make a dining room table, and they wanted to see in person his work. So they came over here. Well, my house is loaded with tables, like this table that he made out of the live edge. And in my living room, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tables in my living room. In tables, then there's a tall, like even taller than this, really long table that you would use like maybe for a bar or a entertainment table if you in a family room or something. I don't know. Just these are all live edge. They came over and I said, well, we have furniture in every room, a piece of something that he's made, at least a piece, if not more. And when they left, they're closing on the cabin on Wednesday, and then they're going to go up there and they're going to do measuring and get back to us to give us, I think they're probably going to order at least 3 tables, possibly 5. Besides the dining room table. It's kind of nice to have them come over because they got to see, Dad loves the live edge, and we've got a lot of live edge tables done. But anyway, I told him today he's working on a coffee table out of the live edge, which I think they're going to take that one. They loved it. I'll post pictures, but they didn't know as today which ones they want and the size and everything. So I told my husband, when you're done with that other one, just start a 7-foot table and don't finish it. Don't do anything. Just get it ready. And I told him what kind of legs and stuff because I know what everybody wants. And I just don't want him sitting idle. It's horrible when you're retired. I retired too young. That's what it is. So I told my husband I talk so much because I retired too young. So I lost all my friends sitting and talking to him at work. So I don't shut up. But anyway, that's why I want him out of my hair. And told him to just make a 7-foot table, and I have to put it together an album. And so many people say, hey, is this one available? Because they want it now. But typically we don't have anything available because everything is custom made. And the ones we do have available aren't the ones they want. They were actually a couple remakes from my kids. Swapped out another table he did, and they liked it better, so they gave this the original table he did. And so we've got a couple of those out there, dining room tables that he redid. Didn't completely remake, but he refinished and maybe changed the legs color or style or whatever. But my poor garage is full, my house is full, I've got furniture everywhere. It's just ridiculous. Okay, I'm just going to put that over because I want it to kind of cover up that. And to me, that does it. But we're going to do this again. A little tiny bit of hot glue. It looked like I went over it quite a bit. It was because it wasn't coming out. So I didn't put a lot on there. I guarantee it. Again, I don't want this to lay smushed down on the hot glue. I just want the bottom pieces to catch it so they don't fly all over. It's like combing hair. Okay. So guys, this is the last one on the Frozen theme. The next one I'm going to be doing, I do believe is going to be the Thornberry family. That one I've just got to finish a little glittering on it. Then I've got the Lion King. And I haven't got the other one. Oh man, I still got a lot of glittering to do. Oh, I think there's 10 centerpieces in that one. So I got to get that going. There we go. I don't think I missed anything. Oh, I didn't put the gem on her neck, guys. I want to do that. I don't want that gem on her neck, but I want the red one. Or not the red, the hot pink. Start putting my stuff away too soon. Okay, where's the hot pink? Okay. Of course, there's not one in there. These things, when they're full of all these different colors and they're all flipped upside down. And okay, there's one. And come on. I need another one. And that's a little one. Maybe I can do a blue and a little pink and a little pink. I'm just going to do that the opposite. I'm going to do blue and pink instead of, I'm going to do pink on blue instead of blue on pink. Do it the other way around. They're just going to be a little bit different. And I'm sure that this is turning into way too long, but too bad. I tried. Okay. Alrighty, now we're going to, whoops. Oh, wrong side. These pick-me-up sticks are absolutely the best invention when you're working with gems. However, I always forget I have it, and I have a few of them. And how I can possibly forget, I don't know, especially since I need them all the time. Practically everything I do has some sort of a gem on it. But, okay, there we go. We got her all done. So, there we go. We got 5. I'll take some pictures, get this uploaded, and she will be on her way. Thank you so much for watching, and, yep, got it. And let me see if I can find my camera. It shuts off on my phone, and I don't know why. But everyone have a great day, great remainder of the weekend. It's Saturday. You only have one day left, but have fun and be safe.